Hi, welcome to Light Code Portal, sponsored by Light Language University and Circle Insights. My name is Jeannie Mills. I'm the Assistant Dean of Education for Light Language University. I'm here tonight with Anna Noyce, the founder of Light Language University and Circle Insights. The topic for tonight's episode is curses. But before we start, I'd like to read the mission statement. The Light Language University's mission statement is to inspire others who are awakening and to aid in the imminent growth of the conscious awareness of being multidimensional.
That is so true.
Yes. Well, Anna, are you ready for tonight?
I am, and I'm excited about this subject and I'm glad we're laughing because it is funny. And a lot of people take it so seriously, but we'll explain how this works as we go along.
Yes. And I want to thank everyone that had sent in the questions for us to read. So I really appreciate that. And Anna, are you ready to get started on the first one?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. We've got, before I learned about light language, I always believed in curses and believed that if someone wished you ill will enough, they could change the course of your life in a negative way. Is there any truth to this with light language, or is the fact that you believe in the curse what gives it its power?
So they already answered that question. So, yes. And of course, you know, Jeannie, and we talk about this in the university, it's going to match this. So what is this about? This is the
tone scale.
Yes. And so if you are above the tone scale, it's not going to match. So you've got to work on those emotions. You've got to work on, if you match the curse, you're fearful, you're going to attract it, of course. So, yeah.
And for anybody that doesn't know about the tone scale, we do learn that in Light Language 101. It's about the two emotions, the unconditional love at the top and fear at the bottom. And then the heart line is in between them where you fall. And we all kind of
we do, don't we? So to answer the question, yes and no, because yes, you know, the fact that you believe in the curse, and no, the fact that if you start to master yourself, do you have to worry? No. So that's a yes, no question.
Okay.
Our answer. That's a yes, no answer.
You often speak of making vows in past lives that carry into our present life. I can't help but wonder if a curse and a vow carry similar energy. Is a vow a type of a curse you put on yourself?
So I would look at it kind of like if they're referring to the vow being an agreement or to create a contract is how I would look at it. And whether you believe it's a curse or whether you believe it's something that you want to go through, if you look at it as a curse, then yes, I guess it could be a curse, but maybe it's something that the soul wants to experience on the life. And to us in the 3D life, we're thinking that's a terrible thing. I know I've spoken about me having more gallons at one time. Would I ever wish that on anybody? Or no. Would I ever want to do that again? No. But I did volunteer to do it. So it was an experience. And once you get past those experiences, it enriches your life and you're able to help others and you're able to learn. And what a great way to learn by those experiences, even if we consider them negative in this lifetime that we're here. So I think that's, yeah. So again, I want to go back. Is it, when you say vow, is it negative or positive? Is it negative or positive? I think it depends on how you look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the different sides of that apple.
Yes. The perspectives, yes.
We're taught about the tone scale in Light Language 101 and 102 courses.
There you
Is shifting your thoughts into the higher frequency of the tone scale enough to deflect any negative energies someone sends your way?
So that's interesting because the questions kind of you can see it kind of, we call it flickering, going back and forth. So yes, it is enough if you can stay in that frequency. So if you think about something that laughed, and I tell the story of actually being in so much fear, and I was working with this energy and trying to help clear the house and the thing attached to me. And of course, I bring it home and I'm terrified. And this is in my book, A Journey into the Sacred Heart. And at that moment, I hear my medicine drum in my ear pounding. And I remember looking at that being that was scaring me and saying, "You can't hurt me." Because I knew I was in my power and I knew that it couldn't hurt me because my drum gave me that energy, even though my drum was across the room, sitting on the nightstand. And so what's interesting is it disappeared like that. So can we change? Yes. When you're working with those tone scales and you're working with the emotions, you have the ability to shift your fear, because when you are below that heart line, you're going to attract, because the darker energies, it's in their dimension and they can see you. But when you are above the heart line, then it can't see you because it doesn't exist in their realm.
Okay, thank you. That's good. People often speak of family curses that can affect generations of individuals in the same family. We know from light language courses that our past lives and our ancestors' past lives can affect our present lives until they are healed or released. What is the difference between these imprints on our soul and a curse passed down through generations?
Lessons, life lessons. If we look at them as, again, we go back to that question a few questions back. If you look at it as a lesson, if you look at it as something that you've mastered, then you're going to go move forward and you're going to move the whole tribe forward, your whole family. But if it is something that this generation is still learning and the next generation is still learning and the next generation, until the lesson is learned, it won't be passed down. So again, do you look at it as a negative situation, or do you look at it as something like you can conquer and achieve and as you stand in your power? So when we're powerless, we give our power away. When you're in your power, you decide what's in your presence.
Okay. We had a viewer question that said, "Can you carry a curse to other lifetimes?" But you pretty much answered that one.
And then I want to say something, because yes, curses can be real. Every day, road rage is a curse. How many times do people drive in front of people and people say things that they shouldn't, that are not very helpful, or feel bad? Or how many times do we get angry at somebody? I mean, you have to think, and like you said, Jeannie, it goes up and down, up and down. So every day we're either praising, we have gratitude, or we're cursing. And guess what? Those curses, whether we're like what we think of in a Disney movie where somebody's, standing at the pot and they're, doing the bubble toil stuff and then thinking of somebody and creating this magic, we are connected on those 4 levels of consciousness that we've talked about. And so when we utter or say something that is below the heart line, you could say that's a curse. But it only sticks to the person. And we talk about this with elementals that we talk about and energy and how they shift, if the person resonates with it. So like attracts like. So we have to learn, again, to stay in our power. Can it travel to other lifetimes? Yes, it can. But again, we're learning how to master ourselves. So if you master your ship, you don't have to worry about it. Practice. We have lots of ample opportunity, right, to practice.
We got a question asking, "Are curses real?" But I think you kind of...
Yeah, they are. They are, and they're not. They are, if that makes sense. Because, yeah, we talked about it. It's real. If it's real to you, then that's what you're going to experience. And we're learning that about shifting our thoughts and consciousness and how we can change our reality. You have so many good speakers out there and so many healers that are showing you how to shift your consciousness and how to shift your reality and to step in and create something different. But if you're going to continue the same road over and over and you're fearful, then you're going to attract that. So it depends where that person is.
Okay. What about like with objects? Can you uncurse an object, and how do you do that?
Very simple. We use golden white light. If you think an object is unlucky, I'm going to use the word unlucky, or if it's cursed, you could, then you can always put good intentions into it. You can pray over it. You can put it out in the sunlight. I mean, so many ways that we do with crystals. You can put it in moonlight. You can play beautiful music. Intention, again, it goes to those levels of consciousness of how we connect to the world and to things. So you can change. Remember, we're multidimensional beings. We're very powerful. We can change what's in our life. We have the choice.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
How do we operate on a level where we just, excuse me, how do we operate on a level where we just don't have to worry about curses?
And that goes back into if you're worried about a curse, then you're looking at fear. So you really need to look at the tone scale. So going back to the tone scale, and Jeannie, you kind of mentioned it, the most highest frequency on the planet and in the universe right now is unconditional love. And what is unconditional love? To love without exception. And the lowest emotion on that tone scale at the bottom of that cross is fear. So everything, all those emotions between that go below that heart line, we call the horizontal line is the heart line. And if you start to feel angry or sad or grief, and we do, we get caught in those emotions, depression, or then it's really about figuring out how to shift into those other emotions, gratitude, when finding ways to bring joy back into your life, finding ways to find how you can move into those higher experiences. And so, yes, it helps. Yes, curses are very interesting. They're only real if you want to have that participation. And they're very powerful because they can shift or change things. They can hurt you. They can do that, but only if you are on that level of fear. Once you move past on the others above that level, then you're going to be fine because it bounces off your aura. It bounces off of who you are. And we also talk about protection. A lot of people, we at Light Language don't teach protection. You know this, Jeannie. We teach to stand in our power. But if you're stuck, then yes, go ahead and use your oils. Go ahead and use your stones or your crystals, or that's the one time if you really like people who are depressed maybe and they have trouble, or somebody who's grieving and they're attracting something, then use that. That would be the time that I would. But if the more you practice, once you're out of that space, the more you practice, the easier it is to not worry about it.
Okay, thank you. What are or are there, excuse me, what are or are there differences in types of curses?
Oh, I can imagine there are. So if you think about it. So in the movies, we have all kinds of curses that are, Disney likes to do a lot of fun with their movies, and it's sci-fi, and but also, again, every day, watch what you're saying. Uh, Again, I'll bring up the example of road rage is another one. Somebody cuts somebody off and you say something, you're mentioning, you're putting out that energy, you're putting out that frequency. Now, will it hurt that other person? Possibly, if the other person matches that energy. But we also teach in light language, whatever you send out into the world comes back to you 7 times stronger. So it doesn't matter if it's just a tiny thing, because it's going to come back a lot bigger and affect you. So why would we ever want to hurt someone? It's really about learning yourself. But listen to what you're saying every day, because we do it every day, unconsciously.
Yeah, not only speaking, but in actions. It's all
Exactly.
vibration.
Intention. Exactly.
Would a photo of a cursed object be any issue if one doesn't tap into the energy of the thing that's pictured?
Yes. If they don't tap into it. So again, it's matching. Photos, yeah, you can burn the photo. You can also shift your frequency. You can learn how to again, things only have power if you give it power. One of the things that we learn is the story of the ice cube lady. We talk about that. And we talk about the ice cubes melting, but also if you're able to shift in compassion into something, you can shift the energy and you can walk through a valley of darkness. You can walk through anything that's dark around you and it won't touch you because it doesn't see you, because you're invisible. So sometimes we'll have a practitioner who is working with a client who's way below the heart line, and the practitioner has to go where the client is to help bring the client back up. So we teach how to do that. But if the practitioner loses themselves in the darkness and becomes fearful, then they're not helping. But if the practitioner continues to work on themselves and they know how to hold those ice cubes and keep them frozen, we have that joke, don't let your ice cubes melt. And we do have those days where they evaporate but or melt. But as we start to practice and recognize that we are connected, we're always one. We choose to be in those higher consciousness, or we can learn how to be in those higher levels of consciousness. We can shift that frequency or vibration. So, yeah.
Thank you. What are the most common misconceptions or false beliefs about curses?
What are the most common misconceptions or false beliefs about? I think that curses are out to get you. I think that what we forget about curses is, again, and we keep saying this, if you give it power, it's gonna, and it's true, it's gonna hurt you. But the false belief is, I can't do anything. I'm helpless. I'm powerless. Somebody's out to get me. And we go into victim mode, which throws you way below the heart line, which makes that curse actually very powerful because it matches.
Yeah. Fear is a dangerous thing.
It's an interesting thing, that's for sure.
I don't know if any of the viewers have any questions. We only have one question left that was sent in. I'll go ahead and read that now. And it is, what would you most like people to know about curses?
Well, and what do you think, Jeannie? I think we've said it several times. What do you think would be the best thing?
I would say don't let it stay up above. don't let it affect you. Don't get scared. Don't run. Come into your power and
It's a process.
with love.
It's a process. I think that part of us walking around in unconditional love, we're not always there. We are having our good days and bad days. We're human. But what's interesting is exactly what you said. If you feel like if there's a curse or something, remember you can shift. It's like dodging a baseball that's coming towards you. You either sit there and let it hit you, or you try to duck and move out of the way. You learn this in Qigong or Tai Chi, how to move out of the way. So same thing, learn how to maneuver outside of that. Once you maneuver or raise your frequency, or once you shift your energy, that curse dissolves. And always know that whatever's been, if you feel like you're a target, you're not the big target, because once that curse that's been sent to you and you dodge out of the way or you learn how to shift, it doesn't matter if it matches you or not and creates havoc in your life. It's still going to go back to the person who created or thought it 7 times stronger.
Oh, here we've got a new question.
Oh,
Does a prayer break a curse even if you don't know the heartline?
Absolutely. Prayers are wonderful. Prayers are beautiful because it's a connection into our higher self. It's a connection into the angels and God, creator, the universe. It's recognizing, and it helps us to stand in our prayer, our power, our prayer and our power. So that's really important to learn. Yes. Um, I think in some of the movies that we've seen with children, somebody will hand them a piece of paper or they'll hand them a stone to hold on to. And in some of the movies that we've seen, and that the child becomes empowered by that. But the truth is, did the child become empowered because of the stone or because of the piece of paper or whatever was given to the child? Or did the child recognize their power because they felt confident by holding that and they were able to step in their power? So even when we're protecting ourselves or using things, it's giving us confidence. And when you get confidence, you go above that heart line in emotions. You go into the love, you go into the joy, you go into the happiness, you go into, you can't hurt me because I got this. And that shifts everything. Now, I do want to mention something about curses that's interesting. One of the things that many of my teachers taught, and one of the techniques has been to shield yourself with mirrors. But did you know that when you shield yourself with mirrors and you send something back to somebody else, it is like creating your own curse? So what do? We learn how to transmute the energy. So there have been famous teachers around the world that says, love your enemies, right? So if you look at the curse, you transmute it into love and you send it back, that's going to come back to you 7 times stronger. That's going to come back to you. That can even change that person. So now you've transmuted. How many times do we get mad at somebody and we're like, no, I'm going to get you, Well, and that just perpetuates what's happening between the two, if there is a person that has ill will. But if we can shift it, forgive, and forgiveness is huge. That's another part of it. Or we can pray for that person, or we can send that love back.
Which is not always easy to do. But.
It isn't. It isn't. And one of the techniques we talk about in Light Language 101 is to wrap a person in golden light, golden white light, because that will help raise their frequency. Now, does the person have to change? No. they can still hold on to that darkness or the feelings or anger if they want to. But what happens is with the light circling that person or prayer circling that person, they may shift if they choose to, and they may accept, that beautiful love and that connection. And remember that we're all connected. We're all whole. So anytime that we send something out, and this is why we want to watch our thoughts. Anytime you send a negative thought out, you're hurting yourself, not only the person that you're sending it to, but you're also hurting the world, because we're all connected. We're wound ourselves. So it's really about learning how to transmute, master ourselves, stand in our power, and help others heal.
Beautifully said. Thank you, Anna.
Yes.
Did you have anything else, or that was our last question?
That was the last question. Beautiful. Yeah, I think. Did you want to add anything else, or?
No, I think you covered it. This was a lot of. It was very educational, very interesting, and I kept thinking about. I kept worrying a little bit about, like to do this one, but I kept thinking, the thing that I think I keep hearing in my head is like the old cartoon thing, and he says, curses. His whatever bad thing that he had planned was foiled. So it's like, it's kind of a good thing. Can be good. So, okay. Well, Anna, I'd like to thank you for being here, and for everyone else that's here watching and that will be watching. We do have some upcoming events. We have next Wednesday, January 12th, and then 2 weeks after that on January 26th, we have the New to Aldous class. It's on Wednesday night, every other Wednesday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And it's only $35. So if you're interested in kind of seeing what's out there, what there is, what's going on, any questions at all, come to the class. It's $35. It's a great time. Everybody really enjoys it. So our next Light Code portal is in 2 weeks. That's on January 19th, 7:30 p.m. again. And that one's going to be on karma. So that is going to be a really good one. We do have weekend workshops in February that are coming up. And how we do our workshops is that it's always on Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday and Sunday both. And so on February 5th and 6th, it will be Light Language 101 that we've referenced a couple times here tonight. And then February 12th and 13th will be Medical Intuitive. Light Language 102 will be February 19th and 20th. And the way that the university works is that Light Language 101 and 102 are prerequisites for all of the other classes that we have. So we would love for you to join us. And I guess that's all that I have tonight. Anna, did you have anything else for closing?
I had me muted. No, I think it's wonderful. I always enjoy having these little talks and discussions, and we hope that more people will send in questions about karma, because I think that's going to be a fun one, like you said, to talk about. And love to hear from you. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you all for listening, and I hope that you've enjoyed the show, and come again in 2 weeks. Thank you.